Okay, welcome. So thanks for joining me. Today we're going to start lying down. So get as comfortable as you like, really. Bring the knees up towards the ceiling. Roll the shoulders back and down. Look for that little lift into the chest so the top of the back feels nice and supported as the shoulder blades slide down the back. Draw the tailbone down away from you so it feels like the lower back has got lots of contact with the mat. There's no arch or anything into the lower back. We're nice and long with the spine. Have the hands or the palms facing up towards the ceiling and then give yourself a couple of moments just to deepen the breath. So you're going to take a slightly longer inhale and then a slightly longer exhale as well. Seeing if you can sink a little bit into the parts of the body that are making contact with the mat. So through the soles of the feet, the lower back into the upper back, and then behind the head as well. Take a nice big inhale. Big exhale, gently release, and then you'll start to bring the knees towards the right-hand side. So you're kind of windscreen wipering them over to one side, keeping nice and open with the chest. It's not like that left shoulder rolls up at all. We're nice and heavy. Just releasing both the knees towards the right-hand side. See what that does into the lower back. See how that plays into the left hip as well. Keep that attention on the breath as well. No sense of holding the breath or tension, just breathing nice and calmly, maybe a little bit deeper on both the inhale and the exhale. And then start to inhale, draw the knees up tall, and then take them on to the left-hand side. So hands might be on your chest, they could stay on the hips. You might even have the arms out either side, keeping the chest space a little bit more open. Take that nice big deep breath. And that nice exhale as well. Feel nice and heavy, especially through the right knee. So it feels like that right side of the hips can really release. Lower back is enjoying a nice twist. We'll inhale, draw the knees up till you're going to take them on to the other side again. This time, you might just leave the knees comfortably to that side if that felt fine. If you want to go a little bit further, you're going to try to draw this top knee, this left knee, a little bit closer so it's in line with the bottom knee. So it will slightly deepen the twist into the lower back. Gently inhaling and then gently exhaling. As slow as you like, we'll start to draw the knees back round. You're going to take them on to the other side. And then exactly the same thing. So it might be just relaxing, keeping both the knees towards the left-hand side. If you want to go a fraction deeper, you're going to draw that top right knee, match that onto bottom left knee and slightly deepen the twist into the lower back. As best you can, if you've got the arms out, you're going to really try to keep that right shoulder blade, that right shoulder on the mat, so there's no sense of kind of lifting upwards or open with the chest. Again, palms might be open, hands can be wide. Maybe you've just got the hands by the hips or on the chest if you want a little bit less. Breathe nice and evenly, and then as slow as you like, we'll inhale. Have the knees up tall for a couple of moments, see what that's impact that has had into the lower back. And then one last time, we're going to draw over the knees towards the right-hand side. Same rules as before, so maybe you match the top knee over. You might also take the gaze towards the left shoulder if you want to deepen a little bit into the top of the body, into the neck. And then our last little option is you can extend this left foot nice and long. So really pressing through that heel, drawing the left toes up towards you, feeling that nice stretch through the hamstring, and you're kind of just pressing that heel as best you can away from you. But at the same time, this gaze might stay towards the left shoulder. You can take any variation of the options as well. So maybe you keep the gaze up towards the ceiling. If that's not great, into the neck, you could stay with one of the bent leg options, or you're enjoying that stretch through the hamstring and into the calf as well. Breathe nice and evenly, so no holding the breath. And then as slow as you can, bend the leg. We'll bring the knees up. Big inhale, big exhale, release onto the other side. So maybe having a play around with the knees matching up. Maybe the gaze comes over towards the right shoulder. Enjoy that stretch through the neck into the top of the back as well. And then our last little option is extending that right foot long. So really pressing as best as you can with that right heel away from you, drawing those right toes up towards you as well, and then breathing into that hamstring, just thinking about releasing maybe a little bit into the calf, into the back side of the leg. And then as slowly as you like, we'll start to bring the gaze back towards the ceiling. So take the neck straight, rebend the leg so the knees are in alignment. Take both the knees up tall again. Roll shoulders back and down, maybe just make sure that tailbone's pulled away from you slightly so the back's just nice and comfortable. And then we'll take the soles of the feet together, knees as wide as you like, so we're stretching the insides of the legs now, cobbler's pose or Supta Baddha Konasana. So you want reclined bound angle is another term for it. Essentially we've just got the soles of the feet together, we've got knees nice and wide. You can use fists underneath the thighs to help lift the thighs up. It feels like it's just a little bit too tight, uncomfortable into the insides of the legs. You can use fists to prop up and kind of support. Of course, you can do that with blocks or pillows or anything if you've got those. Even stacking books up or something. Start to breathe a little bit more into the chest. The other options we've got, if you want to just decrease the stretch a bit, would be to move the feet away from you. And conversely, if you want to deepen the stretch, just bring the feet a little bit closer towards you, and that's going to increase the stretch. The arms might want to stay down, they might be supporting. The other option you've got is just take the palms behind the head and then release a little bit through each of the elbows. So this always gives us a good opportunity to firstly just think if the back is nice and long and tall, and then also on each exhale we'll just slowly release the insides of the legs and also the insides of the arms if you've got those hands behind the head. And you're trying to just let the elbows and the knees gently release towards the ground. We're not forcing anything, it's not like we're sort of really pressing them down, it's just through gently breathing and on each exhale, really thinking about the release of the insides of the legs and the insides of the arms, that those elbows and knees just creep a little bit closer towards the ground. Might just be a couple of millimetres, you might even not really notice any kind of release down, doesn't matter. Just keep the attention on the breath and then kind of imagine the breath loosening up those inside of the legs and around the inside of the arms as well. Great. So, next inhale, we're just going to gently start to release the hands from behind the head, leave the head on the mat. You'll take the hands to the outsides of the legs and then start to draw the knees together again. And then we're going to just take the hands behind the head, so lift the head off the mat side so we feel nice and supported. And then we'll lift the feet up off the mat, so we're going to build a bit of core engagement into the mix. So you can lift the feet up and then we might just play around noticing if that core engages. So whenever we kind of lift the feet up like this, we want to make sure that we're using the core and that feels nice and activated. And we can help build that across the core by keeping the hands behind the head, nice big inhale. And then on your exhale, you're going to draw this right elbow towards the left knee. You're going to press out and away with that right foot. And then draw it back nice and slow. And then we'll go to the other side. So left elbow comes towards that right knee. You'll draw it back. Right elbow to left knee again. And then draw it back and then really press out and away with that left foot. Great. So last time, just pressing that right foot out. We'll draw that back in and then last time, left foot out, left elbow to right knee. And then gently release the hands from behind the head. Let the top of the head down and just notice what effect that's had into the core. We'll leave the feet up for a couple of moments. So you've got that option, just like we started, maybe the feet are on the mat and you roll them over to one side if you want to take it easy. If you want a little bit more, Just keep the arms out either side of you. You can keep those feet up, and then you're going to release them over towards the right-hand side. So we get that sense of a twist, but with the core engagement this time. Nice, even breath. And then we'll gently inhale. Really press into the arms. Swing left knees. Oh, both the knees towards the left-hand side even. And then breathe nice and deep. Gently inhale. And then exhale. And then this time we'll inhale. Draw the knees back up to. We're going to hug the knees in towards the chest. So slowly, just working them in towards you. So it might feel nice to just work the knees towards the chest and put a little bit of effort into the knees. The other thing you can do is just slowly rotate round. So maybe making circles, both the knees together, working into that lower back. Kind of as slow and even as you like, rather than saying how many you can do in a minute. Or just look for that nice even movement. And then go around the other way as well. Don't lose sight of the breath as well. So we're not holding the breath, we're working nice and slow. Breathing nice and evenly. Great, and then we'll release the feet back to the mat. We're going to roll over to one side. We'll come through to seated, so Sukhasana, cross-leg pose, easy pose. You can always use a bit of support as well, so if you want a block or a brick or anything, or book or bolster, pillow, whatever you've got to lift the hips up for a bit comfortable. We're not going to be here too long. We'll roll shoulders back and down, lift that chest space up, and then nice and slow. See if you can release a little bit into the legs, so you feel nice and even into the hips. Big inhale, going to draw the hands as high as you like. Turn the palms up the other way. Just lift those palms up above the head. So double check if they can maybe move a little bit closer above the head. Really pressing out with the chest as well, as much as you can. And then we'll gently exhale. Draw the hands out in front of you. So we might just stay on fingertips. Sometimes the hips can be quite tight, in which case you're not going to come very far forwards. You're going to walk those fingertips as far forwards as you like. What we hopefully notice is we keep this sense of heaviness into the hips. And that means that we're leading with the chest, we're folding into the hip, leading with the chest. And that means that one side of the hips, depending which leg's in front, is going to gently stretch. So if you've got your right leg in front, the right side of the hips is ever so slightly going to get quite a subtle stretch. Left side of the hips will stretch if you've got that left leg in front. So we will do the other side, don't worry. But if that's all okay, feels like you could go a little bit deeper, and you're feeling nice and open, you're going to take the palms down to the ground. Of course, if it's all a bit too tight and not really working, you can always use a couple of blocks or a book or something just to bring the hands onto that prop. Otherwise, take the palms down. You might find that feels absolutely fine, in which case you want to bring the forearms down as well. Feel nice and heavy into the hips, so we're always sinking back into the hips, leading with the chest, and then releasing forward. So maybe the top of the head wants to come down as well. And leading with the chest and looking for that nice heaviness so we get that stretch. You might feel it on both sides of the hips, depends how tight it's feeling, but usually it's a little bit more pronounced on one side of the hips. Nice big breaths. So looking for that gentle inhale, gentle exhale, and then slowly we're going to walk ourselves back up to cross leg. Find that lift into the chest again, gently inhale. Draw the top of the head to be a little bit taller. We'll swap the cross of the legs, so bring the other foot in front. Again, we're going to take this interlace of the fingers, but you're going to take the opposite thumb on top as well, so it feels a little bit strange. Turn the palms up the other way, lift the palms up above the head. Again, have a little check, just see how far they are, and if you can bring them a little bit closer towards the top of the head. Feel nice and heavy through the hips, through the knees as well. Big inhale, big exhale, shoulders down away from ears. Keep the lift of the hands. Another big inhale, and then gently exhale, release. We'll bring the hands forwards, and then your You're looking for that heaviness into the hips, the knees, even a sort of sense of heaviness into the elbows as well, so the shoulders stay nicely down the back. You're going to start to walk the hands forward slightly, if that is comfortable. Gain that stretch, so it's going to be left side of the hips be a little bit stronger if your left foot's in front, and vice versa if the right foot's in front. Big inhale, big exhale. Maybe you go a step further, you could bring the forearms down and then start to release the top of the head down as well. If you want a little bit of release through the whole back. Gently inhale, gently exhale. See how those hips feel. Great, so slowly breathing into the hips. Maybe seeing if you can fold a tiny bit more into the hips. So you're leading with the chest and trying to bring that chest space down as far as is comfortable. So we're always looking for comfort. We're never looking for pain in yoga. Gently, gently, we'll start to inhale. Take a bit of effort into the hands. We'll roll ourselves back up so the head's nice and tall. We're open into the chest. Just give yourself a couple of breaths. Big inhale, big exhale. Sink those shoulders, feel nice and heavy into the elbows. Both the knees and the hips are heavy as well. And then as slowly as you like, we'll release from our cross leg position. We're going to head back to our backs as well. Nice relaxed poses for today. So head back down with that chest base nice and open. And then we're going to target the hips again. So we're going for a reclined pigeon pose this time. Welcome to take normal pigeon if you prefer that, but we'll take left foot onto right thigh, just to start with. So really flexing these left toes up as much as you can. You're just going to gently work that left knee away from you. So top of head can stay on the mat. The hands might be on chest, hips, open again. You can sometimes just take a little bit of effort into that left knee, but we're being very, very cautious. So usually pain in knee is something we're always trying to avoid in yoga generally. So you're working it as gently as possible so that you get a really subtle stretch into the left side of the hips. It's always a lot more subtle on reclined pigeon than when you're the other way round on a front in normal pigeon. Working with the breath and then just gently working that left knee away from you. If that all feels fine, you want to go a little bit deeper. You're going to take both the hands, interlace them behind the right thigh, and then just gently work that right thigh towards you. So the top of the head might come up off the mat if it feels like you just want to draw the head up and engage into the core slightly. You can, of course, leave that down on the mat as well. Keep the flex of the left toes on. Just gently work that right knee towards you, but you're taking it very slowly and very cautiously to stretch pleasantly into that hip. Left side of the hips, that deep bunch of muscles into the left side. Feels nice and comfortable, doesn't feel like anything's really painful, particularly that left knee. If it is, then just back out slightly. And then keep that flex on. Gently inhale, gently exhale. We're going to release the right toes back down. We'll start to or actually just before we take that foot off, we'll keep the foot there. We're going to swing this left foot so that the sole of the left foot comes over towards the ground. So we've got a little reclined pigeon twist. Should again get that really subtle sense of stretch into the left side of the hip. You can keep the gaze up towards the ceiling. Maybe you look towards the left shoulder if you want a little bit more. And those arms may be open as well. Just keep the attention on the breath. Big, big inhale. And then an exhale as well. On your next inhale, we'll swing the left knee round. We'll unhook the foot. We're going to take the right foot nice and flexed onto the left thigh. Gently work that right knee away from you to begin with. And then maybe you use the hands to gently press into the knee. You're keeping those right toes flexed as well. Think about the release coming into the hip, so kind of deep right side of the hip where it meets the right glute as well, rather than any kind of weird pain or throbbing or tension into that knee especially. Great, so this might feel good. You might want to go that step further, both the hands interlace, draw behind the left thigh, nice and slowly working up towards you. You're going to keep this flex of the right toes up as well. Head can be up off the mat if you want to engage into the core slightly. So we're always looking to engage into the core rather than just use the leg to hoist yourself up. Or the top of the head is just gently releasing. We're focusing more on the stretch into that hip rather than activating the core. And then breathing nice and evenly. Great, so slowly inhale, slowly exhale, and then on that next inhale, and then exhale, we're going to release the left foot back down, release the interlace of the fingers. We'll take the right foot across the body this time, so that's going to just come towards the left, so the right sole comes to the ground as best as it can. Hands are wherever you like them, so chest, hips open on the ground. Gently inhale, and then gently exhale. Maybe that gaze looks towards the right shoulder as well. Or you can just keep the gaze up straight. See how hips feel. Have a little think how this side compares to the other one, and then bring that attention to the breath. Breathe a little bit deeper, take the breath down towards the diaphragm, and then gently exhale, release through the chest, rib cage, and the diaphragm. Slowly on your next inhale, we'll bring that right foot round. We'll uncross the foot. Roll shoulders back in there. We're going to slowly just draw the feet long. And then feel nice and heavy through the body. Maybe have a little scan through the feet, through the legs, the hips, the back, each of the arms, hands and fingers. And then take a nice big deep breath, nice big exhale as well. And then just double check that the jaw, the face, through to the top of the head, which is feeling nice and loose, nice and heavy, into that mat. Give yourself 2 or 3 breaths entirely in your own time, just to notice those breaths moving in and out through the nose. Great, and then take a bit of movement through the toes, through the feet. Stretch through the heels, take the hands up above the head, and then just reach, stretch as best as you can. Take a big inhale. Big exhale, hug the knees in towards the chest. Give yourself a nice big hug. And then we're going to roll to one side, head back to that cross-legged position. And then keep that lift into the chest. See if there's any improvement. Does it feel a little bit easier into the hips? Maybe bring the hands into the chest. Take the biggest, deepest breath of all day. And a big exhale as well. Namaste. Thanks very much for tuning in. Hopefully see you again very soon. Thanks.